before we get into it, who am I talking to on Instagram all the time?
That's me.
Right on, my dude.
Yeah, I'm Brent.
Brent, sweet. Yeah. And I'm Joel. Nice to put a face to it.
I'm Mark.
Hey, you too, buddy. Hey, Mark.
I'm Stuart. I'm the singer from Magic Mountains.
My name's Ted. I'm the bass player from Magic Mountains.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Brent from Magic Mountains. This is episode 126 of the Sit Down Podcast.
You ever wait in anticipation for your song to play on the radio, knowing that it's been requested so many times and you still can't get it on there? Check this out. Go to Funky Moose Radio, to the app, and scroll all the way down and hit the S button for the search engine. Type in the song that you want to listen to. Hey, Kemper! Kemper, come here, buddy. Come here. What's the name of that song that reminds you of My Singing Monsters that you like?
Semi-climactic.
And boom, your song is played. So yeah, go to Funky Moose Radio and request a song. Stay tuned and enjoy. Thank you guys and welcome to the show, I guess that's what you want to call it. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, you guys. I'm trying to remember how the hell we ended up getting connected. Do you remember?
Oh man. I'm sure I followed, like I'm sure you were mentioned by somebody that our band account was following, and it just kind of, snowballed social media style after that. And
yeah, it was for sure Instagram, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't remember if
where are you guys located? Maybe that'll help us pinpoint.
We're in Edmonton.
I was gonna say Calgary. So I don't know if you caught it, but was it like a week or two ago we were talking about you? And I was like, oh yeah, maybe it was Brothers G.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this band out of BC follows you guys and like really likes your stuff and stuff. And then as I'm talking about it, I'm looking you up and I'm like, yeah, they're not from BC. But it was like,
yeah.
What does your handle say on Instagram? Something like, hang on, I'm going to bring it up.
But I think the mountains in their name kind of confused
threw me off.
Magic Mountains, BC.
No, it
Edmonton doesn't have mountains.
Well, we kind of share the same mountains, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I think I said maybe I said BC because it's British Canada rock band. And I was thinking BC.
That's understandable.
Okay.
I think that's where my head was.
Is it understandable?
I'm a scatterbrain.
The British part is British Britain.
Right.
I heard the accent. I couldn't quite place it yet because you hadn't said enough yet.
It's better that way.
You've got a not from here accent as well, haven't you?
I do. Yeah. I'm from Holland.
Oh, right. There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Very subtle accent.
Yeah. You can tell it's Americanized European though, somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Well, I've been here 14 years, so.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What I actually just wanted to ask your guys' names. So I don't know much about Funky Moose, so I don't know your guys' names.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Joel.
Thanks for that.
No problem. No problem at all.
We're not that famous, so it's okay.
Right. We're just avid music lovers for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shows. I found a lot of great bands through you, so.
Oh, that's good.
It's pretty cool what you're doing, because every time you spotlight someone or talk to somebody, I check them out, and it's a lot of the times it's someone that I actually would want to go see live. So that's really cool. 7 Mile Sun I found from you guys, and I have them on constant play in my house. So
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
That's
Shout out
exactly
to
why we're
7
doing
Mile
it.
Sun.
That's why we're doing it.
That's the only reason we're doing it. It's like the music that we love to listen to. We want everybody to be able to enjoy it. That's all this is. Right. So it's like, well, let's highlight. So, well, if you want to call it, let's highlight, but it's like, let's get to know these people a little bit better. That's
it wasn't that, like, I grew up in Warman, so just outside of Saskatoon. I lived there from birth till when I was 20, and then I moved to Edmonton, and I was in bands there, and it wasn't like it is now. It was just 100% metal. If you wanted to be music or punk, it was punk or metal. Which is now kind of what Edmonton is and has been for a while, but it seems like Saskatchewan has a real thing going on right now. Like, there's a lot of really good, like, alt rock bands coming up, and I'm kind of envious that I'm not there for it to ride that wave.
No offense taken.
Well, I want you guys to know that I truly love your music. I've been listening to it since we got connected. And yeah, man, if there's ever anything that we can do to help out, like, don't think of it as like provincially. Like, I consider us like worldwide, baby. You know what I mean? So know that there's people in the States that are listening to you right now, in Europe, Australia. Like, that's where the majority of our
Brazil.
Brazil. We've got a bigger following outside of Canada than we do in Canada. So just
on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah. I'm not sure about, but the
audio is about 50-50 between US and Canada.
Interesting.
Yep.
Right on.
So how did that happen? Like, how did you...
why Brazil?
Yeah, like, how did you reach outside more than inside?
They were Googling Brazilian and got retargeted.
Right?
There you go.
Yep.
I actually have a theory on Australia.
One-liners. I can't even sing. This is all I do.
Oh, dude, I love it. The whole episode, just boom.
Yeah.
No, I have a theory on how we broke into Australia, which was like a long time ago when I was like early, I don't know, grade. I don't remember what grade it was, before like high school, I think. Maybe grade 8 or some shit.
5 years ago.
Yeah. We had an exchange student living with us from Australia. And she was from Australia. She stayed with us for like a year, and her and I still kind of follow each other on social media a little bit. And when I started posting those reels, like little clips of the episodes, I noticed that she was like liking them and in my stories and stuff. So I kind of have a feeling that's how we branched out into Australia, through YouTube. But as for the other places, I have no freaking idea. I truly don't.
The joys of the internet.
Those reels, it was those reels like put a big spike in the numbers and audience for sure. I should get back to those. I haven't done those in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Or sorry, it wasn't the reels, it was the shorts on YouTube.
Oh, shorts.
That's what it was.
That's right.
I keep saying reels, but anyways.
Well, same thing.
I gotta get back to those.
Same thing, different platform.
Yeah.
The tape. It was the tape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a laser disc.
Yeah. An 8-track. I want to know a little bit more about you guys. Like,
wait,
how long
when Stu is talking, we don't hear him until everybody's quiet, and then I don't know if that's your audio or
a delay.
I'm getting that too.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I am on cellular. I'm sitting next to a soccer field doing this, so that's maybe why.
Oh, so you've been in Canada long enough that you call it soccer now.
Oh, I know.
An observation.
Me and the Cloggy can say football.
Okay, cool. Cloggy. Nice.
Pretty sure it was the British that started called it soccer in the first place. It was like, it came from a British term, didn't it?
It did. Association football. And then it's just shortened. Anyway, let's talk about music, not that shit.
Oh yeah, we can talk about anything, really.
I truly want to know more about you guys. Like, how long have you guys been playing together for?
Yeah, so like Stu and I were in a band in the mid 2000s here. And then it broke up in the late 2000s. We played a lot of shows. Like we played all of the big places in Edmonton multiple times over. We did really well. And then it just fell apart because that's what bands do. And then Stu and I actually didn't talk for felt like a decade, maybe we just all drifted apart. And then I started listening to our old, like crappy recordings and being like, these deserve like their day in the sun. Like we should try to do this properly. Because when we were doing it then, it was like, you couldn't afford studio time unless you were with a label or had rich parents or some shit. And so we just didn't do anything. And then, I started realizing, technology has changed. Maybe we could do something for not a lot of money and make these old songs sound new again. And that's kind of what we did. I reached out to Stu, we got together. It was like, okay, now we need a guitar player. And my buddy Kurt, who I grew up with, and he still lives in Martinsville. So he's the lead guitar player in the 100th Meridian, which is the biggest hip tribute band in Western Canada. He got on board. He came to Edmonton a few times. We just jumped right in the studio, banged out this EP. We got Ted on. Like I knew Ted from a friend, and I knew he was just an unreal bass player, and so kind of pieced it together. And it was really just a recording project. And then we did it, and we're like, well, shit, now we got to play this live because it's really fun. It sounds good. So it's grown into that now. And now we've got a bunch more songs that we've been working on for the past 6 months. And slight aside, we lost our guitar player yesterday. So we're now searching for somebody new. So that's kind of where we're at. That's why you got the three of us. You got 3/4 of what was the band. And now it's 100% of what is the band.
Interesting. Nice.
So if you're a guitar player in the Edmonton area, and you're deadly.
And you're deadly.
That'd be deadly.
Or if you're in the Saskatchewan area and you're willing to commute.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Or the Toronto area, you're willing to commute.
Yeah.
Or from Australia and you're willing to commute.
Yeah.
How dedicated are you?
Yeah, no doubt.
Pay for the travel.
What was correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna say that a bunch today.
Yeah. Well, today?
I'm trying to think, what was the name of the last song that you guys released? Was that Float On?
That was the second single that we sort of put out there off that EP. And then we did, it was Everything and Anything was the third, and then we just put out the EP like a month later with the 5 songs.
Nice.
Psychogravity falling from the family tree. Make way through here, I'll drive you steer. Life's a chemical reaction. Attraction, chemical distraction. You say I don't care, I say whatever, dear. Life's a chemical reaction.
check out our friends at Muse Canada. They are a network of people in the creative industry. So if you are a musician and you need album artwork, there are graphic designers in the network. If you need a music video done, there are also videographers. Or if you are working on a video that needs music, there are musicians in the network as well. We are part of the network as well, so we can help distribute vinyl records, for example, but we are also a member with our podcast. So if you go to the website muse-canada.ca and you use the discount code FunkyMoose2021, you will get a discount on your membership.
Those are all songs from the 2000s, and they sound like it. They sound like of a time for sure. And the new stuff we've been working on is much more, sounds like today music, but still like us. So we're kind of fired up to put that out because Stu and I have been quite literally almost 20 years listening to these songs that we just put out. Yeah. We just did them right this time, and now we're excited to move forward and do new stuff.
Oh, freaking nice!
Yeah, I was listening in the car this morning, and one of the songs. Yeah, Stu.
Sorry, I was just going to say that's why it continued, because we did this, like Brent said ages ago. We did the songs and we were very self-critical, almost too much, and they were pretty polished, and then we made them better. But the reason we're continuing is because it's enjoyable, and that's something that we're all a bit older now. Like we wanted to change the world before, but now and go on tour and all that stuff, which still might be the case. But now it's because it's so enjoyable. Like it genuinely is, and being in a studio, which we'd kind of done a half-assed version of before. But like we said, we got not a lot of money, but we certainly got some money that we didn't have before, and now we can. And it's produced well. And once we made those, the new ones, I'm not going to say they're much better than the old ones because they're quite different. I think we've, or me and Brent, maybe not so much Ted. We've heard them so much that the new ones seem to be more exciting, but the old ones are new to everybody else. Mm-hmm. So. People are saying nice things about them. We're like, oh yeah, we didn't think of it like that because they're kind of old to us. It's the first time anyone else has heard them. So it's nice. It's gathering its own momentum in a really nice, pleasant, organic way, not forced at all, which it was before. Was it a little bit? Oh, we need to finish this by then because of this, and it's not like we're doing it because no, just for the right reasons. I know that sounds a bit cheesy, but it's very enjoyable.
No, I don't think it sounds cheesy at all, man. I think that's the truth of it. Like it not being forced, like you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell bands that are put together because they kind of had to, and they're playing songs because they have to.
Right.
Yeah. You can tell. And if you're
the new songs that we've done, and again, nobody's heard them yet, and you will soon. But we walk out of there. And we've just maybe even one time, it was the first time we'd written it. And the other nice thing about it is Ted, Brent and I are writing the songs together. Like Brent comes up with the guitar line and the melody, and then I come up with some words, and Brent adds to the words, and Ted obviously produces a brilliant bass line. So it's very, very collaborative, which also wasn't the case before. And because it was forced and all that sort of stuff. I just got hit with a soccer ball.
I was just gonna ask you, did you just get smoked or what? Nice.
There's a nice sound bite. I just got hit with a fucking soccer ball. But it's very enjoyable. That's why we're doing it, because it's fucking great. It's
man.
I just want to add a little bit because we kind of knew each other more so like as friends first, right? Like, I mean, I don't know about the dynamic of Stu and Brent before I was in the picture, but right now, as I see it, I knew Stu and Brent way before we were in a band together. We did cover songs in the past. That was about it. And then they were like, hey, Brent came up to me. He was just like, yeah, we're going to redo some of these songs here, have a listen. And I'm like, these are great. And I'm in. And yeah, that's kind of where I feel like the glue is that I kind of came in knowing I could trust these guys. So
yeah, there's no hired guns, not at all. Maybe the new guitarist will be, but we're very the most important thing. Even we got to find a guitarist or maybe get the old one back. But the most important thing is that they're a good guy. Like we could have Eddie Van Halen turn up and he's a fucking prick, then he's not in the band, you know. And he's also 100%. Dead. You know what I'm saying?
100%, man. I totally get that. Character goes a long way too. It reads off in the music that you're creating too. Like there's a little piece of each and every one of you in that music, right? So as an audience member or a fan, like I can pick up on that kind of thing. Right. Yep. It goes, it's the dynamic of it, right? Even live performances too. If I can tell that the band on stage doesn't want to be there, makes me not want to be in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's also, remember when we were talking to Gary O, he was saying, I might not be the greatest musician or singer, but the fact that I'm having fun transcends into the crowd and then 100%. They're having a better time.
Without a doubt. That's all the bands that have got longevity. That's the case. Like U2 famously, Coldplay famously, Red famously. Separately, they're not very good musicians. They're my, you know, Oasis is. I'm just named 4 bands that I'm very inspired and loved for years. And none of, if you stand alone, you know, the guitarist from Coldplay is no friggin' Eric Clapton, you know. But the 4 of them, they make in my opinion, such a nice sound together. And I'm not comparing us to Coldplay or any of the other 3 I mentioned, but I'm certainly, you know, inspired by that. And none of them are amazing musicians. Even the Beatles didn't start out as very good musicians. No. Obviously, end of all that. So yeah, it's more important that we get along for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Just add us to 5. It's the greatest bands ever.
It's a lot like running a podcast, I guess.
Yeah, we suck at it, but we're having fun.
Yeah,
so.
There you go.
That's exactly it. We're doing it truly just for ourselves.
I'm not saying you suck at it, but if you enjoy it, like this is a nice chat. I've done things like this, and it's very stiff and unenjoyable, and this isn't. So there you go.
Yeah, I've heard comments about that too. Like, well, I've heard a couple of people tell me that what they like about it is that we go in cold.
Yeah.
Right. We go in cold, and throughout the episode, like it gradually, like it's just a conversation. That's really all it is.
Yep.
Right. And that's was the original idea.
So as if we had an idea.
No, but when it started to become like what it is, that was the idea. It's like, like, screw it. Like, we're not going to make a freaking set list of questions that we want to ask you specifically. It's like, no, I want the show to be like, we met in a bar or after a show and we got to just hang out with you. And like, this is what it would be. Right.
Yep.
100%.
And 126 episodes in, you've got it down.
You think so? I feel like
I think you're there.
How'd you know it's 126?
How did we what?
Well, just consistent.
Consistency. They're not all good episodes.
Yeah, don't look at like the first, I don't know, 14.
We're going straight to the first.
Yeah, fucking don't even look at the first 50, maybe. The first year.
There was always something.
I'll be honest with you. If somebody's crazy enough out there to legitimately go and watch them in order, you'll see, I think, a huge transition into how we started. Even if you just watch like 10 minutes of the first one and then go to like this one, there's a huge difference. Big time.
You've talked to some heavy hitters too. Like I went through who you've talked to, and there's some big names in there. How did you line some of those guys up?
All social media.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, trolling.
There you go.
For real.
Very good at that.
That's all it was. You know, you tag people in a post here and there, and then they might like it or comment or share it. And then from there, I would just kind of try and get a conversation going with it. And then be like, oh, you know, I have this little show. Like, I'd be honored if you'd come on, that kind of thing. Theory of a Dead Man was a little bit of a different story. They were doing a podcast through the pandemic, and Tyler had posted on his Instagram something like, hey, you know, if you have any questions for the band, send in a 15-second question. We might air it on the show and answer your questions. So I whipped together a quick little one. Basically, Weapons had just finished touring with them pre-pandemic. So the little joke there was they were calling them W3 Apons. So my question to Theory of a Dead Man was like, would you accept our invitation to come on our show, and you can maybe clarify the story behind calling W3 Apons or something like that, right? And I put little blips of the podcast logo in it, and they sure as shit, they aired it on their podcast and accepted the invitation. So that's all I did to get them on. I was so freaking fired up about it, nervous as hell.
Gotta be in.
I believe it.
Well done. That's great.
But just little stuff like that, you know, it comes from like just tagging somebody in a freaking Instagram story.
Actually,
but then you got to check and see if they've like, if they saw it or not. Right.
The sheepdogs, I got even easier. I was following them on Twitter, and they posted something. They tweeted something, and I replied, "Hey, do you want to talk about this on our podcast?" And knowing full well that they wouldn't answer. So then, but I got an answer. It was like, "Yeah, send us a DM and we'll talk about it." I was like, oh, okay. Wow. So I sent the DM with some information, and I think I was talking to Ryan, and it was yeah, let's set it up, give us a date, and we'll be there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's basically just like tossing the call out there, and now we're at a point where there was a long time there I wouldn't say we were struggling to find guests, but it was always like a couple days before we would record, and it's like, who the frick are we gonna get? Who can we reach out to? Who can we get on?
Yep.
And then now, like, we're booked into September right now. We've got a guest lined up every week until September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, then we're lucky to be on the show.
No, dude, we're the lucky ones that you guys came on. Like, truly. If I guess I should thank social media too, because if it wasn't for that, I would probably not know who you guys are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to think, was it through Instagram, or did you send us an email?
Well, I just got Joel's email yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't an email.
It was definitely Instagram.
100%.
For me, anyway, it was definitely Instagram.
Because
probably when we opened for the Stones.
Yeah. That's how we found you, right? When you were playing with the Rolling Stones, and we got to. Yes.
Yeah, and then Keith actually reached out to us saying that, hey, you got Magic Mountain.
That's right, he did, didn't he?
That's how that worked.
He's a solid dude. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Yeah.
I haven't talked to Keith in so long, like that's why I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I blocked him. He won't fucking leave me alone. I blocked him.
Nice. These episodes of the Sit Down Podcast are brought to you by Inspired Vapor Company. Drop the darts, man. Those guys are legit there to help you quit smoking and transition to vaping to help you quit nicotine. I struggled with a nicotine habit quite aggressively and used vaping to quit smoking. I was 4 years without smoking and had a cigarette and went hard in the paint. So these guys, I'm working with them right now too. They're helping me kick that habit. So I currently am vaping. Thanks, guys, for the help and support to kick the habit, man. So hit those guys up for any help if you're struggling with that. InspiredVaporCompany.com. There's 3 locations in Saskatchewan here, and use the promo code Moose10 at checkout for 10% off. Thanks, guys. Fuck, I had another question. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about live gigs. Are you guys have you been able to perform lately or coming up?
Well, yeah. Well, we had, like I said, we just parted ways with our guitar players. So we're probably going to have to cancel a show that we had lined up here in August. And he didn't one of the problems was he didn't want to play live at all ever. And that was kind of a point of contention for the 3 of us, because it's what we want to do. So we actually turned down, I can't remember, Joel, I think I mentioned this to you. I heard of the Radiant through you, and I followed them and they followed back. And then they said they had a show coming up here in Edmonton. They asked if we'd play, and the 3 of us, Ted, Stu, and I were like, yep, we're in. But our guitar player was like, nope, no interest in doing that. So we had to turn down that. But we want to find somebody where we don't have to be afraid of jumping on gigs like that.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. Oh, man. I would
That
highly encourage getting a guitar player and playing with the Radiant.
Yeah, I know.
If
Yeah, it would have
possible.
been great. Would have been a huge opportunity and really fun to play. Plus, they're like in the chats I've had with them, really great. And so to have to say no, I felt like a real piece of shit because 3/4 of us wanted to.
Yeah.
We thought we might be able to make it work, but yeah, we couldn't.
Right.
Oh, that
Oh, man.
sucks.
If there's a silver lining, there have been a few bands, and not like we have also said, like, we're quite proud of them. We're all very proud of the music. I think it's pretty good. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine, but it's a good version of what it is. But it's not fine if you don't like it. If you don't like it, you're a dick. No, I'm just kidding. And the bands, obviously, they listen to the music, and these are pretty decent bands that have asked us to play with them. So there is a silver lining. We just got to get somebody that is keen on it, as we are. Which as we've said, it's disappointing, but we're all so gung ho about it that it's a bit of a blip, nothing else. But the fact that some of these very good bands want us to have asked us to play with them is a nice thing. Again, that's one of the other things that's just makes us happy, or makes me happy. I keep speaking for the other two, but I'm sure they agree. It's if they don't agree, I'll tell them they have to. I'm the singer, and but we'll get there. We were a bit disappointed because we had a nice little festival show coming up. But I just bought a guitar today, so maybe I'll be the guitarist.
Son of a bitch! What did you buy?
I bought that pink one.
Get out of here! Oh, that was you. I thought you showed me that screenshot saying it was somebody else bought it.
I knew you thought that. No, I just bought a guitar.
You pile of shit. Good for you.
What kind of guitar is it?
I was just going to ask that too, yeah.
It's an Ibanez, a semi-hollow body Ibanez, which I've never had an Ibanez before. But I just wanted a semi-hollow body because I've tried Strats and I'm just, I've played semi-hollow bodies, and I just do better with them.
What about that Gretsch you have?
It's not a Gretsch.
It's
that's
a big white one, right?
I'm a big Oasis fan, and I've got a limited Union Jack Sheraton, but I'll never play that in case it's scratchy. So
I've got a question about guitars. So forgive me if this is a stupid question, but I don't play, so that's going to be my defense on that. I had this thought the other night watching Paris Pick perform, and I always see when an artist is performing, there's usually multiple guitars on the stage and stuff, and sometimes throughout the set you'll switch out a guitar or whatever. My question is, what's the difference between the guitars? Because with all the pedals and electronics that you can use, can't you just make one guitar sound like however the fuck you want to? So why would you switch the guitar when you just use a different pedal to make it sound like that other guitar or whatever?
I play the guitar, and I agree with you, because but I'm an average guitarist. I'm not a lead guitarist, and because I think the same thing. I was like, there's so much digital effects now. Do you really need that? And if you, compared to olden days, 60s, 70s, even 80s, guitarists change a lot less now. I think even the absolute best only change once or twice. Do you know what's really weird that you said that? Is I was watching for the millionth time the Queen performance at Live Aid yesterday. I was lying on my bed, it popped up on my feed, and I watched the whole thing. And Brian May is one of the only guitarists that's ever played his guitar that he made himself. I don't know if you know the story of the Red Special. He made it from a piece of mantelpiece and an old table. Do you know this?
No,
anyway,
I'm sure Mark does. Mark's a huge
yes,
Queen fan.
And he plays it with a penny.
Six, Queen. But I was watching it, and I don't know. I was going to look it up, and I didn't go around to it. But he changes his guitar, because it's the first time I've watched the whole thing for ages. And he changes his guitar and picks up a black Strat to play Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and then he puts the red one back on. I wondered if he broke a string, because he was famously never changed his guitar because he was down. Mm-hmm. And again on the guitar thing, when I've seen Oasis 4 or 5 times in different countries over the years, and in the height of their glory, Noel Gallagher changed his guitar, and he's not even a very good guitarist. He's my hero, but he's self-proclaimed not a very good guitarist. And he used to change his guitar at the height of the heyday, like nearly every song, and now he doesn't change it at all. So I think very often it's for when they got enough money to have lots of guitars, they just want to play them all. That's what I think.
Right. I saw
Eric Clapton very rarely changes his guitar because he doesn't need to.
I saw a YouTube video on the Edge for they were doing a show, and they were doing behind, I think it was some guitar magazine, and they went backstage with U2, and they showed all of Edge's guitars and when he changes it, because apparently for every song that they write, he uses a different guitar because it sounds different.
Mm-hmm.
But and some are tuned different, even though it's the same guitar, but they're tuned differently
as well.
Yeah, so he just switches guitar instead of retuning, even though he's tuning mid-song all the fucking time. But whatever.
That makes sense too, to just switch out the guitar instead of fucking around with the strings, right?
Yeah.
Or if you break a string,
Makes sense if it in a different tuning. Here's a bit of a weird thing. Do you know the Wiggles? The kids sing the Wiggles.
Yes, I believe so.
That horrifying thing.
Like that, is that Ready Steady Wiggle?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like different color shirts on it, and I always wondered, because it's fucking embarrassing when you watch it. I'm like, how do these guys sleep at night or go to the pub and speak to their friends? Because it's just shameful. Anyway, I was doing a solo gig at a pub in town, like doing a covers gig. There's a point to this, I promise. And Murray Wiggle, who's one of the founders and now one of the richest guys in Australia, because the Wiggles have a bigger export in music and CDs than AC/DC, like massively successful. And he's one of the founders. Anyway, I was sitting in this pub having a break with the guy that I play with at the time. And he said, "That's Murray Wiggle." I said, "The fuck are you talking about?" He said, "That's Murray Wiggle." I was like, "Are you on fucking glue? What's in your drink?" And he said, "It's Murray from the Wiggles, the Red Wiggle." So he went up to him and said, "Are you Murray?" He said, "Yeah, I am." He was doing a crossword at the bar. And so we got talking to him, the nicest guy, and he's massively into guitars. And I lived in Australia for about 4 or 5 years, and he lived near where I live. So we were talking about cafes and pubs that we would go to. He would probably spend a lot more money than I did in there. But then he said, our roadie toured with U2 when they were in Australia, the Wiggles roadie, and he said, can I go backstage? He took him down into that guitar pen, because he's a big guitar fan, and showed him all the guitars. And I said, "Did you get to play any of them?" But he said the same thing. He asked him the question, "Why do you have so many guitars?" And he said he plays a different for every song. So that's really disproved my comment about not needing one guitar, because one of my guitaring heroes has 30 of them. And Murray Wiggle told me this random story when we got drunk in a pub. But anyway, Murray Wiggle, one of the nicest guys, and was telling us some wonderful stories about how Johnny Depp wanted to be friends with him so he could take his son backstage, because he said everybody wants to meet the Wiggles.
Yeah.
And he said it got to the point where like they'd open their, because they wanted to be big deals to their grandkids. I'm telling other people's stories now. This is quite embarrassing, but it was the coolest thing. And he said Robert De Niro was there with his, said, would you meet my grandkids? But anyway, It was a good, he saw all the guitars, which was a nice evening to meet one of the Wiggles, the Red Wiggle.
You would also think if there's any guitarist in the world that could just play one guitar and make it sound like every other one, it would be the Edge. With that semi-truck full of computers that runs his shit, that he could just play a Les Paul and be like, okay, just here's my Strat setting. So, but there's got to be a way. It's just the feeling and the strings, the way it plays, stuff like that.
I agree.
I don't know that shit.
There's a, like, I have, I think right out the bat, if you plug in a Gibson versus a Fender right out the bat without any pedals, you can hear a clear difference. Now, if you add pedals, I mean, sure, you can probably get pretty close, but I think there is going to be some subtle difference, and maybe it'll matter more in the studio than it would live.
Right.
Depending on the quality you're looking for. So
I think it's changed very recently as well, because I know a few guys, like guitarists, who are far superior to my playing, that kind of thing they do notice. And even lately, they used to be like for years they would tell me about the tubes in the back of their amp, and my tubes have got to warm up, and a lot of them have changed to digital because you can, as you say, mimic any sound much more accurately than you could even 10 years ago. It's like you can't tell the difference now. So I think it's changed quite recently. So maybe that's why we don't see so many guitar changes, because I used to wonder the same thing.
There's a saying I used to like that I've always lived by is and I'll try to piece it together for you guys like really nicely, because it's any good musician or songwriter can make a shitty piece of equipment sound good and make a good song come out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Paul McCartney playing a mandolin and it sounds like holy shit.
True.
I don't know if you've seen that. We've all seen it, but when they're making the Beatles thing that was just on Disney, and they have to wheel in the recording, like the 8-track or the 16-track from George Harrison's house, a piece of shit that they wrote some of the most legendary songs in humans have ever known on it. So I see that.
I wanted to watch that so badly, and I watched it for about half an hour and I had to turn it off. I could not watch it. I'm not a huge Beatles fan. I do appreciate all of their work, but it was like this whole backstage with Yoko sitting there and they're going through the songs, and I'm like, I know the lyrics. Why don't you know the lyrics?
Yeah.
Like
No.
I saw a great bit. You might have seen Peter Jackson talking about it, and see, I liked that bit, and I'm a big Beatles fan. So if you don't like it, I understand why, because it's actually. But Peter Jackson said it's almost like watching a movie when you've seen it before, because there's lots of bits in it, as you say, but there's a bit when Paul and John and they're coming up and it's Jojo live na 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 na.
Exactly.
And Jojo and Peter Jackson, it cuts to him in this interview I watched, and he said he's left his home in Tucson, Arizona, and then it cuts back to John and Paul, and he says is Tucson in Arizona, and which is I enjoyed that, but you're forgiven for thinking it's a bit boring and lost, because it was, some of it was tough to watch, but it was enjoyable.
I'm the opposite of Mark. I'm not really a huge Beatles fan, but I probably could have watched 80 hours of that documentary. I was fascinated by I like that stuff, like the behind the scenes looks at stuff that is very, pop culture.
Nostalgic or whatever.
Yeah. And so I enjoyed it, and I was like, I wish it wouldn't end. But I don't listen to the Beatles. Like, I don't have it in my iTunes playlists. I mean, everybody knows you can't go to Safeway without hearing a goddamn Beatles song. So everybody knows it, but I don't listen to it on my own.
Right.
But yeah, I quite enjoyed that series.
One thing that we said after watching it, me and Brent, is, and please I don't mean this in a we're like them kind of way, but it gave us some hope that they didn't find it very easy to write songs. They found it very hard to write great songs. So I remember watching it thinking, I'm sure a lot of their songs came easy to them. But it was kind of nice to watch it for that way, that these pillars of greatness still struggled to come up with Tucson, Arizona, just like we do now. But eventually they did. So that's why I kind of enjoyed it for that reason. It's like we're just minions trying to write songs, and even the best of the best of the best found it quite difficult,
Yeah, 100%. I think the last documentary I watched on music would have been Sonic Highways from Foo Fighters.
Oh,
yeah, that's good as
Good
well.
one.
Right? That one, I was fascinated with that, and how he wrote a different song in each city or whatever, in each studio. I love that, and rocked that album out so hard.
my last one was about Geffen, the one I shared.
What's that?
Oh, right.
The guy that owned or started Geffen Records.
David Geffen, yeah.
David Geffen. So it's on Netflix, and it's about how he started from, just being a guy, wanted to help an artist because that artist had potential. He wanted to get into movies, but the movie industry told him, no, you shouldn't. And then he went into music, and then he found this girl that had a great voice, and he was like, hey, she needs to be on the radio. I need to promote her. So he got into that and made more and more connections, and then he started a record label and his agency, and then he got into movies, and he's like this gazillionaire.
I have a good feeling I know why you liked that one so much.
What was that?
Well, because it would have maybe not psychologically, but like in the back of your mind, like you might maybe saw yourself in there.
That's why I texted you.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, there is so much in there that we're
currently doing.
Do. I mean, same as what Stu said about being the Beatles, not wanting to, like, you know, there's the Beatles and then there's you, and you want to be the Beatles, but you're not. I want to be, I don't want to be Geffen, but you know, it's like that same trajectory that Funky Moose is getting.
Why not? That's I you know, keep people tell me to stay grounded, and we're all quite normal, but why not? Someone has to. Someone has to do.
Yeah, exactly.
There has to be another Geffen. There has to be.
And the way the music industry is right now, I mean, times are different from when Geffen started, but we can still do the same thing.
Yeah,
but our own way.
But a little different. Yeah.
I love doing shit my own way, man.
Yeah.
There's like we've talked to so many people in the industry and like corporate and all that kind of shit, and it's like, or like a fucking grant application, for example. Do you have to jump through so many goddamn hoops just to get some fucking help out there?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. Like, do you want to help us or not? But no, you have to like check so many boxes off of the.
Yeah. Here's a 50-page form for $300 that we're going to give you.
Be in business for fucking 10 million years before we'll even look at you. Like, get out of here, man.
Well, that's another reason, going back to what Brent talked about, Magic Mountains is you used to have 12 songs, put them on a CD, have a fucking CD cover made, and have a CD release party. And then most of that, you know, at the band of our level, then there was 1,000 CDs that sat in the drummer's garage for 6 years until CDs weren't a thing anymore. But now it can be so much more gradual, and I think the payoff is, the gratification is more instant, because we can make a song, record it for, you know, whatever amount of dough, and then it can be out, and you don't have to do all that other rigmarole. So it can grow its own legs. Like you said about you guys doing the podcast, it's got better gradually, but you didn't have to be. It's grown its own legs with minimal investment, I would imagine. I'm sure there's some investment besides your guys' time and talent, but it can be more gradual these days, because you can make your own look. A lot of it used to be you had to be lucky, but now much easier. I mean, you still got to be lucky, but it's easier to make your own look. You've got to have a good product. It all boils down to that. Yeah. And I think, like you guys do, you do have a good product, and so do we. Like I said, if you don't like it, that's a taste thing. But it's not because fucking singing's bad, or the bass playing's bad, or the drumming's bad. It's just because you don't like that kind of music, right? So that's why it's encouraging and very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I almost sounded clever then for a sec.
Yeah,
so close.
You do.
Careful.
I think it's the accent.
I
think it's your accent that makes you sound so clever.
Yeah,
he skates through life a lot on that, for sure.
I would totally use that to my advantage as well.
I've been dining out on it for 48 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Dude, are you in Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice. So go ahead.
No.
I missed that. I totally missed it.
Cut out.
It was cut. Sorry, say it again.
No.
Say it again so I can cut it out.
No. I won't have that documented. Carry on.
Okay.
Nice.
Brent's thinking to himself, he's ashamed of something? Holy shit, that must be bad.
It must be real bad. We'll talk about it later.
You're out, Stu.
So I've been trying to figure this out. Brent, did you say, are you the drummer?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. I thought
Comes
you were
up with
playing
a lot of. Sorry.
Well, I was trying to figure. Is Brent the drummer? I didn't hear him say it. I thought he was playing guitar, and then I confused myself. So,
Well, I write a lot of the stuff, and
Yeah.
I play guitar minimally to be able to write, and then I give it to Well, when we had a guitar player, I would just be like, "Hey, here's my idea. Can you make it sound like a real guitar player would make it sound?" And then we build off of there. I can play enough to write songs and do some damage, but then somebody else does it much, much better. So
You're giving yourself enough credit, Brent. You're pretty good.
Yeah. Not good enough to where I would be a guitar player in a band, I guess. Like, I would never feel comfortable being in that position, but I have to write. I constantly have ideas, so I have to get it out. But it's nice that up until now, I've had somebody to work with and be like, "Hey, can you make this sound really cool? Because I can't." And then I give it to Stu, and Stu sings really great. And yeah, so it's kind of a nice, we have a nice thing going on right now, or we did, but we will again. It's just whatever Stu said, just a bump in the road.
Right. A blip.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you guys. So out of the songs that you guys sent us to play in this episode, I'm curious if you guys have a similar response to this. But out of the three, which one would you say is your favorite? Like, I know a band likes to know what the audience's favorite song. I'm curious to know what your favorite song is out of the three.
So Stu and Ted, Joel asked me to send him some links to a few songs that he could pepper in here. And so I sent Bitter Lullaby, Float On, and Secret Secrecy.
Secrecy is my favorite for sure.
So yeah, of those three, that's what you get to choose from.
It's a lullaby.
Yeah, that's kind of mine too. I don't know. Maybe because it's like OG, like that might be almost the first song we ever wrote way back when, or not. No, I know it wasn't because I remember the first one, but it was one of the first. And I like how much it's grown and how much better it sounds now. And it's just that one for me to play, at least, is the most fun of the bunch.
Is it Secret Secrecy that has that kind of synthesizer type of sound in there?
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, me too. That out of the three, I would say it's
and you know what? That actually, I listened to it in the car this morning, and I was like,
made you think of the Radiance?
The Radiance, yeah.
Fuck me too, dude.
Exactly.
Me too.
That is really funny because when we recorded, like, that didn't have synthesizer in it. We did the recording here when we did this EP, and then I just was like, I thought it was empty in spots, and I thought we could really use a synth line to fill some of those gaps. And I had a rough idea for how I wanted it to sound, but I didn't know any keyboard players. So the guy, my buddy who did the album with us, Kurt from 100th Meridian, he knew a guy in Saskatoon named Brody Moninger, who's like, he works at Long McQuaid, he plays in bands, he's like a musical phenom. And yeah, he came in and played keyboard on that one song. I sent him the tracks that we recorded here. He sent me like 10 ideas. We pulled a bunch of pieces from them, and that's what we ended up with.
For me. is heard. Stop still, don't say a thing. We keep quiet and I won't sing. Secret, secrecy from me. It won't hurt if you don't see. Secret, secrecy from me. It won't hurt if you don't see. You gotta make up your mind for me. You gotta make up your mind for me. You gotta make up your mind for me. Make up your mind for me. Secret, secrecy from me. It won't hurt if you don't see. Secret, secrecy from me. It won't hurt. No, it won't hurt. It won't hurt if you don't
Oh man, perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that kind of shit.
When we all, you know, I sing a little. I used to be in a U2 tribute band in Australia, and that's the first time I sang seriously. So I kind of sing. People sort of say, "Oh, it sounds a bit like U2, whatever." I don't mean it to, but I'm not naive to the fact. But so we get quite a lot. Oh, it sounds like U2, which is obviously amazing if people think that. And or he sounds like this, or he sounds like that. But when we showed Secret Secrecy to people, it was the first time, and it wasn't just one or two. It was like a bunch of people said it sounds like Duran Duran, and it's synth. And which I was like, holy shit, that's cool as well.
Right.
And we didn't mean it to, but I get a kick out of that. People saying, "Oh, you sounds like this," or "It reminds me of this." And
I'm always scared to tell artists what I think it sounds like, right? Because I'm scared I may offend them or something.
I would never be someone well known who's got their own jet. I would fucking think it was great because we're all inspired. There's no such thing. The Beatles copied Elvis and Chuck Berry. You know, everybody
adapted.
I adore.
Yeah, and Greta Van Fleet, inspired by Aerosmith, of course. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
So who do we sound like, Joel?
Who do you sound like? I would say you sound like Magic Mountains, a band out of Alberta, Saskatchewan, out of Alberta, Canada.
Alberta, Saskatchewan's not wrong, actually.
I had, you know what? I was trying to. So earlier, I had a thought, and I could be way off base because I'd have to go back and listen to them again. But The Cure popped into my head at one point listening to those, and I was like, huh. But then I'm honestly not familiar with The Cure. I know like one of their songs, which was on like the fucking Crow soundtrack back in the 90s there. So I was like, so that might not be the right name of the band I was thinking of, but that's what popped in my head was The Cure. And I'm trying to think what song I was listening to. Was it Bitter Lullaby, maybe?
It's interesting that you say that because nobody has said that yet about those songs, but we've written a couple of new ones, or a couple of the new ones, and I've said, "Gosh, it sounds like The Cure," and that was a guitar line that Brent came up with. So yeah, of course, that's I think that's amazing. Somebody says you sound like.
Right. So maybe I'm right then. Like I said, I got to look back because this was like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes ago, an hour. And I was like, The Cure, like trying to like piece it together. But I'll text you later. I'll let you know. I'll be like, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Curious. I don't know.
Oh, the jingly guitars.
You know, it just occurred to me a few minutes ago, by the way, when I was rambling on about like guitar players. It wasn't Kurt from 100th Meridian who left yesterday. He came on board to do the project for the EP, and then we found a new guitar player. We were stuck, wanting to fill that gap so we could play live, and we found a new guitar player, and we had been playing with him for Ted, am I wrong if I say 3 months, 4 months? I don't know what it was really.
Yeah, it's less than 6
and he's the guy who left us. So we're still on great terms with our guy who recorded the album. So two different people.
Kurt is great.
Yes.
Only here.
I have a feeling I've heard that name before, or at least the 100th Meridian tribute.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you have. They played like everywhere in Saskatchewan. They've got festivals throughout the summer. They've got one next weekend or the one after. They played PA like multiple times.
Right.
Are they playing Dogpatch? Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes, they are playing Dogpatch.
That's okay.
Yeah. That's where you recognize it from.
Okay.
Are you coming to Dogpatch?
No.
Shocker. Shocker.
I can't go to every show that
you don't go to any shows, man. What's the last one you went to was fucking Regina.
And
that was like months ago.
And
dude, you're missing
so they're gonna break up. They're gonna break up on episode 126.
Too good. I think I'm going to a show. Do you know if you're coming Thursday?
Joel's bragging about the shows that he's going to.
Dude, it's so much fun. I love fucking live music, dude. I would much rather go see a band live than I'll still get the album. I'll purchase merch and all that kind of stuff, but I want to see the live performance. It amps me up, man. Every freaking time. I love it. I love being front row center so that you can see me too.
Yeah,
that changed, man. I used to like be that guy in the crowd where I didn't want the band to see me or whatever in case I'm like not bobbing my head enough or whatever reason.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about that in one of the episodes.
And now I'm just like fucking just loving it, dude.
What's the best gig you've seen?
Like ever or recently?
What's the most enjoyable gig you've ever been to?
Ever.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh my God, it's such a mashup. I'll be honest. I hit up Chester Fest this last weekend and 7 Mile Sun and League of Wolves fucking crushed it, dude. So good.
I'm disappointed you didn't say Moose Fest last year.
Moose Fest. Well, 7 Mile Sun and League of Wolves were there too. But no, what I'm really enjoying right now is I see a lot of the bands multiple times because they're friends of mine. So I'm going to hit up the shows. And 9 times out of 10, the bands that I'm seeing, every time I see them, they keep getting better and better and better. They were better than the last time I saw them. They just keep rising and rising and have not hit the ceiling yet. And that, I think, is what's amping me up so fucking much, is because I know that they're getting better, right? And that they've got so much further to go. Like what's the word I'm looking for? The
momentum,
rising star.
Well, maybe, something along the lines of it. The potential, right, is just so far out there, and they've got so much room, and it's just all up for that's I think what amps me up is the fact that I know these people on stage, and they're doing great, man, and they're fucking crushing it, and it gets me excited. I think more because I know you guys, right? Yeah. So I love them all. I think I'm trying to think of a shitty one.
I was going to go with an interesting one. Like, yeah, they're the best ones, the best ones and whatever. But I found the drive-in show for Weapons very interesting. It wasn't like Weapons weren't at their best at that show, I think. And it wasn't, a whole crowd in front of a stage where you're elbowing each other and whatever. but it had something special, even though there were not a lot of people there. I don't know.
Well, I think
enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was a different one for sure, because it was a drive-in show.
Yeah.
And I think that was like for sure the first drive-in, or maybe only drive-in show they've ever done too. So
Probably.
that could be like why that was like,
yeah,
a little
like
different.
Our Lady Peace, when we went and saw that, Brent, they had tables set up for the whole COVID stuff, and they're just so far apart. It was very different from any other show I've been to.
Right, and everybody's tense, you know, because of the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like that vibe really
different.
Yeah. How about you guys? What would you say was, I'm curious, what's the shittiest concert you've ever seen?
Oh, I was gonna go. Stu probably saw the Wiggles live, and he
fucking hated it.
I got backstage.
Yeah.
So many jokes, but we won't. Shittiest gig.
Where you were just like, this is fucking terrible.
Ben Harper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw him in Australia. It was fucking shit. Boring, just crap. So that's famously, I couldn't wait to leave. I went with a friend of mine, and it was just dull as shit.
Right.
I've seen lots of good ones though. I booked the bands at the Starlight Room for about a year. I was the booking guy, like the local booking guy. So I saw some good ones there. But I've seen some big ones. I saw Michael Jackson back in the day.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, do you remember what year that would have been?
Let him finish. He's got 87.
On the Bad tour. I was only young, like 12, 13. So that was great. The Police was great. I've seen Oasis. And similarly to what you say, I've seen Oasis, I think, 5 times. Saw them in Australia, in England, and then here a couple of times. But the last time, they seemed to get musically better as well. I think when they stopped doing so many drugs, the music, and they had Zach Starkey on drums, Ringo's son. Musically was amazing the last time I saw it. But I'm a bit more, you guys would get along brilliant with Brent, because he likes slightly lesser known stuff. I'm a bit of a fashion victim. I like the stuff that's already huge.
Don't get me wrong, I like that too.
Yeah. But
I don't.
Oh, I do. That's why I play it on Funky Moose Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some
little plug in there.
I was just gonna say, radio is one of those things where, it's kind of horseshit always. Like going back to forever, you can call in and they're going to play what they want anyway. It's just, if somebody happens to call in and request one of the songs that their program director has chosen, they'll play that one. Hey, here's so-and-so wants to hear this. Yeah. Okay. Well, just because it lined up with what they were going to do anyway. They don't really play what people want to hear.
That's exactly it. I'm going to cut this too, but
thing here, I won't say the radio station, but it's one of the bigger ones. And like, as Brent said, it's hokey, and we've got 200,000 stream, or more than fuck knows what now, 200 something streams. But when we were on the radio, it was still, we were jumping around like kids, like on that thing you do when they've got the radio in.
Yeah.
The radio, especially for our age, like it's what you grew up listening to. You're on the fucking radio. Yeah. It wasn't just some shit station. It was one of the bigger ones. But it was it was like when you call into, as you say, the new band in town kind of thing. But Brent had already organized it. But when they plugged it on the radio, they say, so just text in, tell us about a new band. And it was all so fake. Like, we were still happy. They said, so we got a text, and it's Magic Mountains, and they made it sound like it just happened. But it's all hokey, sort of pre-planned shit, which is the way it is. But it was nice to hear the name on the radio, and we still don't know why. It's pretty meaningless. It's like, even with my day job, I do voiceovers, and I've been in a couple of commercials and stuff for my day job, and I'm on YouTube, and there's like 150,000 views or whatever. But as soon as it's on TV, my kids are like, "Oh my god, it's on TV!" I'm like 6 people saw it on TV.
Yeah, right. But, I'm trying to teach my son how everything is fake, whether he sees it on TV or on a YouTube or whatever. It's like, it's all fake, dude. Like, he helped me edit that video I posted today. Like, he's getting into it. He's understanding. Like, it's, dude, if you saw the unedited version of that video, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, let's do one of these again. But
it's really a good thing that you're doing that, though, because like, how many kids grow up looking at Instagram and being like, oh, I want that life, but that life isn't that life. Like, none of it is real.
Yep.
Maybe a small portion of it. The Rock, yeah, that's his life, but it's not who they're going to be seeing. Like, that's terrifying. I have a 3-year-old and I'm terrified. And like, oh shit, Stu, I thought of you yesterday, like having a teenage daughter. I started watching Euphoria. Have you watched that, Stu? Do not watch that show. Whatever you do. Like, if I had a teenage daughter and I was watching Euphoria, which is an amazing show, like, it's incredible, and I'm glad I can watch it, but I get heart palpitations thinking about, like, if I had a teenage daughter, because oof, and I, like, having to raise one of those in this day and age. So anyway, yes, good on you for at least telling him that everything is horseshit, and like, only what's in his life is real, really. So that's good.
That's definitely what we're trying to do, and I think he's understanding. For sure. So much so where if we're watching a show or a fucking YouTube video, or like, he's calling out where the edits are in the show.
Yeah, right on.
I'm like, perfect. Like, I think he gets it.
I think that's more clever than most adults these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Fuck.
I know
stupid,
his son.
Right?
He's a bright kid.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt this, but I don't want to just disappear, but my battery's going to die right away.
Oh, my dude.
Okay.
How about you request a song for us then? Which one out of the 3 are we playing right now?
Bitter Lullaby. Please play Bitter Lullaby.
All right, it's a bittersweet lullaby to see you have to go, my friend.
I'm going to die right away.
Okay, now the real podcast can start.
Yeah.
You could now, nothing will be cut now. It's really nice chatting to you. Seriously, I don't want to just cut out, but my battery's going to die right away, and I'm in the middle of a field. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for coming, Stu.
Really nice chatting to you. Genuine pleasure. Thank you.
Are either of you guys, or I'm going to assume not Mark, based on the tension in the room there, but Joel, are you any chance you're going to the Hour Hand and 7 Mile Sun show in Saskatoon on the 23rd? Oh, God damn it, you froze on me. Ted, are you there, buddy?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so it's them, not us.
It's just we're running the podcast now.
Yep, it's that rural Saskatchewan internet. Fast Kel. What? I am the host now. Woo! And it says it's still recording. All right, okay. First step. We're starting with a rebrand. Okay. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be our own. So we'll think on this.
So you mean like how we're going like minimalist right now? Because like all our logos are very minimalistic. I think
we have none.
Like,
we're so minimalist. We don't have a name. We don't have logos. We might not. Let's change the format. We won't even talk to bands. We'll start something new. We'll just talk about like what's happening in our lives. You know.
Oh yeah.
How you doing? What'd you have for lunch today?
Fuck talking about music.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna pop back in. I'm not getting any messages from them at all.
Jesus.
Hang on a sec. I was legit curious about
what if that's how they do their exit? Just make it look like a network issue.
Yeah. Actually, that's pretty goddamn clever. And then that'll be the podcast. It'll be just some joke that we're not aware of. And how long will these assholes talk to nobody before they realize we're not coming back?
Or not.
Oh, no, we got two Joel popping up here.
Joel, you're muted and not muted. Oh,
hey, we got Mark. Oh, and there's the other guy.
Right on. We are back. Hey,
what the hell?
Was that a commercial?
Power, hey?
That was fucking in the middle of my sentence there. The whole house just went dead.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that, you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Hell yeah.
I'll talk for 3 hours.
You guys could have been like, fuck this, we're out. I'm curious to see what you guys were saying now that was still recording. I can look at the
We'll release it Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So forgive us if that happens again. I'm not sure what the hell happened there, but I want to see you guys perform live. Where the frick?
Brent, do we have anything coming up?
Yeah, we have a guitar search because we can't play without one. So that's step one. And man, once we find a guy who can play and will play, that's kind of weird that I even have to say will play, because in 100 years, I didn't think we'd have a fight with a guy not wanting to play music in front of people, but that's where we are. But once we find a guy who can and will play, we will be playing, because I want to play. And specifically, I mean, I want to play in Saskatoon because that's where I'm from. And I want to play there because I have all of my friends and family still live there. So we would have a bit of a draw. And yeah, it's on my bucket list and I mean, that's a kind of a sad bucket list, probably, that some people might say, but I want to play there in front of people. But we got to find a guy first.
There's nothing sad about that. That's
I don't think it's sad at all.
Conquer your backyard, man.
All right, good, cool. That helps.
Do you ever hear of a band called Hurricane Cletus?
No, for a second I thought maybe, but no, I don't think so.
They were a band that was getting some hype quite like a decade ago. They were out of Hague, I believe, but I haven't heard squat about them at all.
Hague.
Yeah.
Hague,
I remember listening to them like 10 years ago.
Was it Hague or Rostered?
Hague, I think. And I was like, these guys are great. And then I don't know.
Ted's like, what the hell? This might as well be Lord of the Rings fucking villages for all he knows.
I fucking know Lord of the Rings. Come on.
I know. Yeah.
I've never watched that show. I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
10 years ago, Ted was 13.
10 years ago, I was watching Lord of the Rings. All right.
And I still go to Hague every time I can because they have a little bakery there that has some of the best shit in the world.
Right on.
What? Hague?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, buddy.
You got to go in town though.
Yes.
That's news to me.
It's like, isn't it like kitty corner from the post office or something, right?
Yes. And yeah. Every time my mom we go to visit her, she'll have stuff from there, and it is unreal.
Yeah.
Pies and pastries and shit. Yeah, it's so good.
Hell yeah. I know that place.
And why haven't you shared that with me?
Because you don't fucking go anywhere, bro.
Shit.
Just in the basement.
Also, there's a really good burger place there too.
Mark just stays in the basement.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to get an app for his radio station.
No. That's I actually, yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I'm kind of working on it maybe.
Yes.
Ah, there we go.
I've been bugging him enough.
It depends. It depends. I asked my developer and he's like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then he said, but why would you want that? You can just play it on the website. Like, yeah.
No, and so I'd like to think that I'm simple-minded.
But I know what you're saying. If it's on your phone, you're going to use it.
Like if I have the app on my screen, I can just fucking hit the app and I don't have to go to Google and then type in Funky Moose Records and then do all that shit. I can just fucking hit the app and go right to it.
Yeah. So we already talked about how it would look, and it would be album art, play and stop button.
There you go. Yeah.
And maybe a cast or Apple TV icon or whatever.
Yeah, just more streamlined.
Yeah, keep it simple. And then maybe instead of ads on the radio, I'll put ads in the app where, gotta make some money.
Sponsored by whatever, Canadian Tire, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe. Gotta go bigger. You gotta go bigger than Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Sponsored by Amazon.
Sponsored, yeah, fuck yeah.
Jesus. Swing for the fences.
Sponsored by Spotify. Hell yeah, man. I've always got these brainiac ideas, and I don't know, man. I think big, right? And then if it doesn't pan out, I don't give a fuck. Whatever. I tried. You know what I mean?
This might tell me if this is. Oh, sorry, Ted. You go ahead, buddy.
No, I feel like that's a really good approach because like even much with this band, like if it doesn't go anywhere, well, we're still doing what we love anyway. So
yep.
And having fun doing it, right? Like that's
exactly.
what
because otherwise if it doesn't go anywhere, well, you don't lose, right? Like not setting those crazy expectations to reach the moon or something.
Yeah. You gotta go past the moon, bro. You gotta go past the moon, reach for the stars and land on the moon.
We're doing this again?
Yeah.
We're
like that.
I disagree.
Brent, that's at least my take. All right. So
no, I'm with you, buddy.
I'm 100% in no matter where we go. But I have zero expectations of what happens. So
to me, it's all awesome. Worst case scenario, it's a reason to drink a lot of beer on a weeknight or a weekend. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all good stuff. Now tell me, sorry, this could be wildly inappropriate and I just don't know. But so with Moose Fest, like what was your attendance last year? And are you going to pass that this year? I asked because I saw you put out a thing saying, should we move to a 2-day festival? So I assume things are going really well.
So far, so good.
In my eyes, yeah, we're about even attendance wise with last year already, and we're still 3 or 4 weeks out. Yep. I mean, as an organizer, I'm truly shooting for 500 tickets. I'm really hoping for that, but if I hit like 600, I'm still gonna wish it was 7 or 8.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? As an organizer, I don't know if it's ever gonna be enough, so I try not to think about that. Mm-hmm. And I just keep telling myself, like, I don't give a fuck if there's 10 people in the crowd or 10,000, because these are truly the bands that I love. These are my friends. I want to see them, so I'm bringing them to me. So I'm kind of selfishly we're doing Moose Fest for us.
And by I, every time you say it, he says
when I say I mean we. Yeah. But yeah, we're doing it for us. These are the guys that we like. This is the music that we love to listen to. And I mean, if we can break even on it, that's a fucking success right there. 100%.
And that's what we did last year too. We when we started it, we didn't set any expectations because we didn't know what to expect.
Well, and it was pretty small.
Yeah. And we had 6 weeks to prepare.
Yeah.
So we weren't really prepared. But it was, we got the 3 bands, and it was literally like, okay, well, let's hope we can make this work.
Yeah. Well, Mark and I had been on like Bellevue Rec Board for a long time prior to all of this. So we've hosted like snowmobile rallies and ball tournaments, and, you know, we've put on town dances and shit like that. Right. So the way we approached the first one was like, okay, book the bands, get a venue, sell liquor. That's what you do, and sell some fucking tickets. Right.
Yeah.
So we basically approached the first Moose Fest as we would have as if we were just putting on a town dance, really.
But with 3 bands.
But with multiple bands as opposed to just one.
Yep.
That was really the approach towards it.
Because we only had 6 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah, and the budget too. Like, I mean, budget goes a long way too. If we don't break even on it, like, that's coming out of our pocket. That's our personal money that's paying for all of this, right? So it's like, okay, can we get a sponsor on here? Like, where can we redeem some cost somehow, some way? Luckily, all the musicians that we've currently had on have become close friends of ours as being a result on the show and like hanging out with them at shows and stuff like that. So like it's cost efficient that way, right? And it's all been handshake deals. Fortunately, we haven't had to do any contracts yet because they're friends of ours. So it's like, hey, you want to come fucking play Moose Fest next year? How much will you charge us? And they give us a number. We're like, done, let's do it. We'll put you on the bill. And then that's how it's been. I don't think we've had any contracts. Hey,
nope.
No. The only contract that we've ever done was with Northern Royals when we got the record done.
This one.
Just to like everybody was on the same page, right? But we just to be
on the safe side,
we were like, let's get this in writing.
Yep.
But it was everything that we were already agreeing upon, so it was an easy signature to get.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's cool. You got to, like, Weapons to me, that's a pretty big get. I know they're probably friends of yours, but they're like legit on the radio in Edmonton. So that's like a band, I feel like, and probably a pretty big draw.
Right.
Band.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, where
yeah.
somebody like some moron like my cousin or whatever who wouldn't know music, like, would hear that and go, oh, I'd go see them because I've heard that one song or whatever. So that's really cool.
Yeah. It's that's what I love about doing what we're doing, because it's like they are legit friends of ours.
They were actually supposed to play last year, but they had a contract with another venue.
Oh, that's right.
A radius contract. So they couldn't play Moose Fest.
Yeah, those are fucking bullshit. Hey, you can't play, you know, within 100 kilometers in so many days, and that's why they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Actually, the Steadies had something like that as well, but Earl was like, "Fuck it, it's Bellevue. I'm coming to play."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right."
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the one that made it happen, basically.
Yeah. What was that? Was it Jazz Fest? No, it was because of that drive-in show we saw Weapons at. That was at the EA Rawlingson in Prince Albert, and that was like a week. Wasn't that a week?
No, it was within a month of. It was like
a
2 or 3 weeks out.
Yeah, but that's why they had to decline Moose Fest, was because of that EA Rawlingson contract. Fuck.
Yeah.
So we got him this year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And then next year, yes, we are contemplating, like, each year we want it to be a little bit bigger and better, considering this year doesn't put us in the red too bad. Because man, we're just trying to blow up the hype, and next year is going to land on the long weekend. So
there you go.
Why not do 2 days if we can afford it?
Yeah. Land the sheepdogs.
I'd be hesitant. I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest, and forgive me. There's better bands out there than the Sheepdogs.
I'm just talking. I'm a marketing guy. I can't not think about how that would immediately, by tenfold, increase your sales.
Yeah, but it's
the
also
cost
like,
would go way up. So
right.
Yeah.
It's also like they're not our friends neither. Like, they came on the show, but it's not like I can call up and go for coffee. Whereas all these other guys, I totally can. Like, they're fucking coming to my hotel room after the show. and hanging out with my wife and and we're playing fucking Nintendo till 6 a.m. Like, it's fucking crazy.
That's very specific. I feel like
because
it's happened. It's
because it
happened a
happened.
couple times. But it's fun though. We love it.
But yeah, when you say like a headlining band, we talked about getting the Trues or Monster Truck out at Moose Fest. But you know, paying their fees means we need to
that's another 30 grand out of our pocket to get
that
them
means
here.
we need to sell 300 more tickets.
You got to front a lot of money to
So it's like
it would be a risk.
Big time.
Exactly.
Big time. And then so we were just like as big as this year's event is, in my opinion, how huge this is, it's still like small potatoes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's
they're all indie artists, but
I want to keep it that way.
Fucking great at what they do.
I want to keep it that way too. Like I mean, maybe eventually we'll get, you know, bands like Metallica.
Oh, we should get
AC/DC.
fucking there's a band out of Alberta called Magic Mountains.
Who?
That are fucking killer, dude.
We should get them on the show.
Yeah, we should get them on the show, feel them out a little bit.
And if
they're
okay.
We're cheap, but our guitarist is super expensive, probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause here. I have to go piss again. Forgive me.
Jesus.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Are you diabetic?
I broke the seal.
Well, Ted and I each had one too while you were in your blackout, so we've all taken a turn.
Yeah.
You're next.
Shut up.
Well, mind over matter.
Just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but Moose Fest is going to be a blast. Like we had so much fun last year too. The bands that were playing, they actually slept at Joel's and my house. And we had a big pancake breakfast at my place the day after. So all the band members, so we had some from the Steadies, 2 from 7 Mile Sun, most of the League of Wolves guys. They were all here, and they were just chatting with each other and having breakfast, and it was all
sick.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool. Did you document that at all in any way, like pictures, video? Like
I have pictures. Yeah, I have pictures. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good memory for sure.
Actually, I have a picture of Kurt, the drummer for the Steadies. He's sleeping on my trampoline.
So is that kind of night?
Yeah. Well, he was sleeping in front of our back door, like on the cement. And my wife kind of opens the door because she wants to fire up the barbecue or something, or put out the chairs. I don't know what she was, but she opened the door and she's like, "Oh, hi, Kurt." And Kurt was like, "Oh, sorry, am I in the way?" And he got up and went to the trampoline and slept for another couple hours. It was great.
I mean, we've all been there, or at least I know I have. The trampoline sleep is like a rite of passage at some point, I think.
I can't say I've done that. No.
All right, maybe I got a problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
maybe I have a real issue.
It's not a problem, I think.
Not one that I remember clearly,
It's
anyway.
not on the cement.
No,
that's right. At least I doesn't sleep on the doorstep.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
I've done that though. Yeah.
Who was sleeping on your back door? What?
Kurt from the Steadies.
Oh, on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Oh, my dude, here's a fucking story for you that night. So did you tell him how late we
Are
stayed?
we gonna finish the podcast? Because this is all stuff
like,
that we
it's
probably
okay.
don't put in.
Cut around it. Fuck, it's all good.
90% cut.
Yeah.
It'll be an 8-minute podcast.
It's just your songs. That's it. There's the fucking podcast.
Yeah, we didn't get to know the guys from Magic Mountains, but hear their songs.
Yeah,
What else you want to know?
I want to know. Okay, we talked about gigs, how long you guys have been together, how you met.
Yeah, we talked about the
EP release,
I
how the
almost
songs
said the
are 20
standard
years
stuff,
old.
but the stuff that we wanted to know.
Yeah,
I
just wanted to fucking hang out with you guys.
think
That's
right
what I was looking forward to too.
Yeah. I think right when Stu said my battery's about to die, I think that was kind of the point where we were also steering it to the end, kind of. And then the power went out, and then we started a new conversation.
I was just
Two-part.
getting, yeah, two-parter. I'm curious to see what you guys were talking about when the power was out. I'm thinking that's how I'll transition into it. So we're gonna play the lullaby song. What's it called again?
Bitter Lullaby.
Bitter Lullaby.
The
Sorry.
lullaby song.
And as he's going away, we'll go into that. And when we come back from it, it's going to be you two guys there. I think the power went out. What's going on?
Yeah.
There's some people. A spoiler.
I was
There's some
like, it
people-
legit told me that I was in charge of the thing now. And I was like, holy shit, I don't know. So what do we do? So Ted goes for a piss, and then I go for a piss, and then pretty much we're back at it again.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay. Well, that was a long piss then. Holy shit.
It's one of my passions. Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, we can wrap it up if you guys want. You've got some, I would say, 2 hours of material to do some solid editing around for all the stuff you said you had to cut out.
I really don't want to let you go, man. I could fucking hang out here for another half hour. Easy breezy.
Oh, my parents are here too, and they're leaving on
okay. Mark
Thursday.
wants
So
to
I know.
Mark's such a robot.
Yeah.
Yes, love you guys. Please come back. Please
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. We'll do anything that we can to help. Just let
Yes.
us-
Since you're booking out 8 months now, we'll try to get in for April or something next year.
Cool.
Whenever the next opening is.
My dude, your family will squeeze you in.
keep checking your DMs, because I'll let you know about the 23rd.
100%.
Yeah. Are you following me on Instagram?
Oh,
Mark,
I am. Yep.
Not Poppen. Okay.
All right, thanks for having us, guys.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Thanks again so much. This was awesome.
Thank
Cool.
you guys.